Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. This is Focus on Africa. Now, camels, they're often called the ships of the desert. For generations, pastoralists across the African continent have relied on these resilient animals to survive harsh climates. Millions depend on them for food, transport and income. North Africa and the Horn of Africa are home to around 80% of the world's dromedary camels, those with a single hump. But even these hardy animals are increasingly feeling the heat as temperatures rise across the continent. New research from Somalia shows that nearly half of camel-owning households lost animals during recent droughts. In the northern Sul region, almost 3/4 of the camels reportedly died. And in neighboring northern Kenya, veterinarians say that camel deaths have risen by more than 15% in just 2 years as temperatures climb above 50 degrees Celsius during extreme heat waves. Well, earlier, I spoke to our environment correspondent, Navin Singh Kadka. He told me more about the impact that this is already having on communities that depend on camels for their livelihoods.
Impacts on vegetation, on water availability, shaded areas, all these pulled together are impacting camels. And when camels are impacted, these herders, these pastoralists whose livelihood depend on these animals, be it for food or for even for economy, for their earnings. For example, the milk yield, the milk production has kind of decreased significantly when camels suffer. Also, meat quality. Camels were kind of giving them hope, but now even that is being kind of dashed.
What recommendations did the experts you spoke to give regarding what governments and humanitarian organizations can do to help these pastoralist communities?
Many of these people told me that despite this vital role of this animal in terms of livelihood, in terms of so many other things, they are calling it the most neglected animal in the region. That's what they told me. So now, in the wake of all this, what they're saying is there has to be a comprehensive study, strategic planning in terms of how do you deal with this. For instance, in Ethiopia, we found that herders are moving southwards from northern region where these animals were found historically. They're now going towards the south because in the northern part, vegetation gone, water gone, shaded areas gone. It's become almost uninhabitable even for camels. Therefore, they are moving downwards. Mind you, this is not just a seasonal movement. They have moved for good. So that kind of thing, identifying those places, where could they go, where could they resettle themselves, although there's a challenge that these animals tend to run back, that challenge is there. And then, of course, it's also about provisioning water, provisioning food.
I mean, what sense did you get about the effects of climate change more broadly? If the camels themselves cannot cope, what sort of world are we looking at in the next few years, especially in some of those areas?
If you look at the World Meteorological Organization's report, particularly the State of Climate in Africa report, 2025 report last year's, it shows that, out of all the sub-regions, the northern part is where you'll see most temperature rise going up, prolonged heat waves going up, and then temperature hovering above 50 degrees C in many places. Now, this is very, very disturbing. And that is why scientists are saying that, is this the tipping point even for camels? I mean, this is not to say that, overnight everything will come to a standstill. But yes, we're heading towards, very, very worrying situation. And then that's why they are saying that there's not going to be a foolproof kind of solution, but what can be done to adapt? Again, like as I said, herders were adapting by switching over to camels. But if camels themselves are struggling, what can be done? That is a big question. I think they will have to start working on that.
Finally, if there are no significant interventions, do we have a sense of what could happen? Are camel populations at risk, sort of globally, if there are no interventions?
As of now, you see, despite the fact that these reports are showing that camel mortality in certain areas going up, disease prevalence going up, milk yield going down, meat quality bit going down, but we're not seeing population dwindling already. Well, that is at least a bit of a respite. But if this trend carries on, the warming carries on, and if the management and intervention, if they don't happen, then yes, there could be significant increase in their deaths, and that would bring the population down. That's the warning, and it remains to be seen if policymakers regionally, if they will come together and act on it.